Hey, good morning. Welcome to the first part of our Angular 19 Essential series. I'm Mark Faisal, and I'm with FullStack Central. So in this series, we're going to explore the latest features of Angular 19 and how you can use them to build scalable, dynamic, and web applications. So today we're going to just start with the essentials, like what is Angular, why is it powerful, and how to set up your development environment. If you're ready, let's go ahead and dive in. So what is Angular? Angular 19 Plus is a powerful front-end framework. So Angular is more than just a framework, it's a complete platform for developing modern and client-side applications. So with its modular design and built-in tools like RxJS for reactive programming, Angular simplifies the process of building and maintaining web applications. So part of it is that it's a very component-based architecture. So it allows you to create scalable web applications as well as reusable components. It's also developed by Google, so it's very much widely adopted for its robust tooling and for its performance. So let's talk a little bit about some of the key features of Angular 19. With it, Angular brings exciting features like standalone components that cut down on boilerplate code, and the new Signal API, which simplifies reactive state management, which I'm not gonna lie, it is really pretty cool. I've gotten to experiment with it more and more recently, even though I've utilized Redux and other state management solutions, but it also allows making development faster and more efficient. So some of the other key features is the improved performance, so fast rendering and compilation, standalone components, as I mentioned, Signal API, and the enhanced developer tools for debugging, which makes life so much easier. All right, so let's go ahead and just get our development environment set up. So some of the things that we're gonna do, we're gonna make sure that we have Node.js and NPM installed, which that is required. We're gonna install Angular CLI, and we're gonna go ahead and create a new project, and then we're gonna serve that project, okay? Now, I'm gonna show you a little bit of how I also like to do my Node.js and NPM setup. However, you can also do it the way that I'm going to show you initially, which is a little bit, it restricts you a little bit because you're not able to change between node versions as quickly. So I'm going to show you both ways. So let's go ahead and dive into it. All right, so this is the first way you can get Node up and running, so you can start developing with Angular or any framework and JavaScript platform. So you do need Node.js installed. The quickest way is you can just go to nodejs.org, hit download for the latest version, and it's going to download. And then if you open that up, it'll prompt you so you can go through and install all this. I'm not going to go through this installer because I'm going to show you a different way that I did it, and I like to personally run it. Now, I am on a Mac, and there is a version where there is a way that's very similar on PC. It's also called NVM, which is Node Version Manager, but I do want to note they are different. They're not the same. The Mac version and the Windows version are two very different things, but they do accomplish very much the similar end result, which is a way for us to easily switch between Node versions and NPM versions quickly on the fly, just using a few commands in the command line or terminal or your shell script or whatever you personally use. So let's go ahead and show you that, just what I have set up, and we can go from there. Okay, so there's a couple ways that you can install NVM on your Mac. The way that I've done it is using Homebrew. This is a great tutorial. If you just Google it, it pops right up. I just typed in NVM Mac, and it pops right up in Google. The first one, it's a Medium article. But it's really a good one. So you want to install Homebrew if you don't already have that installed by opening terminal, and then you would run this command. And then once you do, then you can install NVM using Homebrew. So you just do brew install NVM. All right, and then you want to make sure that you add the following lines into your shell profile. So your bash RC or your ZSH RC or your bash profile. And then you will have to restart your terminal, or you can run this command right here to apply those changes. Once you have that, you can verify that it's installed. I'll go ahead and show you. Get my terminal window back up. So I'm going to just show you that I already have mine. Let me just clear my window. So mvm version. So as you can see, I'm running 0.39.3. And then once you have that, you can also install Node.js. So I do already have some installed, but you can run a few different commands. I think help is one. Yeah, so if you run help, that'll tell you all the different commands that you can run in here and see. So you can get an idea of what kind of versions that you need or that are available. I believe the command nvm list, no, nvm list available. What is it down here? It'll tell me. There is a command to list all the available ones that are available. I'm not sure what that is off the top, but you can go through and search for that on here. But however, if you are wanting to, you can go to Node and find out what the latest version is there, and just either install a specific version like it shows here, nvm install and then 18, or nvm install --lts for the latest. So I am going to check. I believe I have I don't know why it's not letting me pull up that command. But yeah, so I have so if I check in node version, the version I'm running is 22 right now, 22.11.0, and npm version is 10.9.0. All right, so I do have that running on here. Now I did want to also show the Windows version. To get Windows running with NVM, it does require a few more steps. I can do a separate tutorial on that. I do have a Windows machine that I can do that, but I don't have that set up right now, so that'll be a different tutorial that I'll do. But as you can see, this is, I just went NVM PC or Windows, and it will pop up. You're gonna look for the one that is by Corey Butler, and this actually you just install this directly. You can download the latest version, and then it will basically have very much the same functionality as that of the Mac, but it isn't exactly the same. Under the hood, meaning there are differences. You'd have to go through and look at what they are, but I did want to mention that yes, you can do this on Windows, and it does make life, especially on Windows, much easier. Having worked in both environments, developing on Mac is a lot easier in my opinion, especially when you're dealing with Node and just like all different packages and things like that, especially because you can install a lot with Homebrew. Chocolate is available on PC, so you can do a lot with PC. It's just a little bit more complex, like I mentioned, and there are some things that require setting up, more specifically on like the SAS side of stuff, if you're in the CSS world. But yeah, it's just a little bit more of a pain, but that is available. So if you do want to get into that, you can. So let me be back here in just a second, and we're going to go ahead and dive into some programming. All right, welcome back. I have VS Code set up. I'm not going to go into all my extensions right now. Let me see if there's a few though that I do feel that might be beneficial. So yeah, if you do want to get a few like Angular extensions, the Angular language service by Angular is good. This snippets for version 18 is pretty good, but I also have GitHub's AI installed, so I am able to get syntax highlighting and syntax autocomplete and things like that from due to AI. But these things also definitely help. It does provide some useful tools for you. So now one of the things that we are going to do, I've already installed it, but I'll go ahead and show you. If you don't already have it installed, you would want to install with npm globally the Angular CLI, because that's going to come in handy for so many things. So you would just do npm install -g for global @angular /CLI. And then running that's going to go ahead and install it, and that'll be then available. So once you have that all set up and installed, it'll take a few minutes to do. We can go ahead and create our new project. So I've already created a folder on here just for demo purposes, and it's going to actually create a new folder inside here, but that's all right. So let's go ahead and create my new project. So let's just do ng new, and then we're just going to name it demo app. And it's going to run through, ask you some questions. So here you can select CSS if you just want it to run based off CSS, SCSS. So personally, I usually do things with SCSS or SAS. I don't usually use the indented syntax. I usually just use regular SCSS, and you can also go with less. But for this demo, since we're not diving into CSS in general, or SAS rather, and this isn't really meant for that, this is meant for an Angular demo, we're going to just go CSS. And then it's going to ask us, do you want to enable server-side rendering? So I'll just go ahead and hit yes for this. Doesn't really make a difference on this demo. And then it's going to ask, would you like to use server-side or server routing and app engine APIs for, developer preview for the server application? We'll just go ahead and say yes for now on this as well, since this is just a demo app. And it's going to go ahead and create it. So as you can see, it's installing all the packages, and then it's building out my tree structure over here. Okay. Once this is created, we're going to go ahead and we're going to run ng serve, and hopefully we'll get something spun up from that. I may have to run, I need to see if all the packages actually get installed. If they don't, then I may need to run npm install. Oh, okay, I do see the node modules just popped up, so that is a good thing. So let's go ahead and try ng serve and give that a try. And this command is not available when running the Angular outside a workspace, but I'm inside. Oh, I know why. Okay, because it created the demo app folder. So I just CD'd into it. I'm going to clear that, and let's go ahead and run ng serve. And as you can see, it's building it right now. I have ran into this before. Give me a second, I'll be right back. I'm going to figure out what this issue is from. Okay, I'm back. So the error that I was experiencing, that was actually due to Yarn plug and play that was somehow already installed on my system. So I ended up having to delete that out of my actual user folder. So once I did that, now I can run ng serve, and it should go ahead and build. Yep, as you can see, and it is referencing everything as we want. So I'll go ahead and click this, and this is now what we should be seeing, our demo app right here. So if you do run into that issue, chances are it's going to be a result from that specific issue being it's pnp.js or a file similar to that. There is a Stack Overflow. Let me see if I can find it, or maybe it was a GitHub article. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so this right here, this is where what helped for me. Oh, so it's pnp.cjs is the file. So I ended up finding it in my user directory. Once I removed that, all the errors were fixed. So it just is one of those things that isn't specific to Angular 19. This is actually even an older version. It's just something that has to do with Yarn. I do have Yarn usually installed because I do like Yarn a little bit better, but I have been migrating over to pnpm, which is, in my opinion, a little bit better than both PNP and Yarn, but Angular ships really well with PNP, and PNP has come a long way anyway, so that one's fine. But I did want to mention that if you do run into that issue. Okay, so the last part of this, we're going to just briefly go through the folder structure of your demo app that was just created. So let's go ahead and open our Visual Studio Code again, and if you look at it, we have our source folder, we have our public folder, This is where everything gets compiled into. But this is our basic folder structure. So in source, we have our application, so the app folder, which is our application components and modules. This is where everything lives. You can't have additional folders in here, so I often like to split things like reusable components or sectional components like a header or a footer. I like to split that out from my main component, and I'll usually come in here and I'll create something like header and make my header component inside there. Oh, I created it as a file. Nope, I don't want to do that. I would want that to be a folder, not a file. So I would do something like header and then create my component inside there. Then our source assets folder, which is not in here, but we would go ahead and create that. This is where you're going to store all of your assets, so images and your styles, things like that. And then the last piece I wanted to touch on was our angular.json. This is our configuration file for Angular CLI. So there's a lot of stuff in here, but it tells everything how to build out our distribution path for our output, for our demo, the index for our source. As you can see, the index file, which Angular is looking for app root. So if we look at how this is kind of configured just on the basics, and I'm not going to go into too much depth on this, just because we'll dive into that a little bit more a little bit later in future videos. But as you can see, the selector is app root, so it is going to search in our index.html for the app root. This is as you can tell, it looks very similar to a regular HTML tag, but this is how we are defining a component within Angular. So really, app root is the whole app is a component, basically. So that's really the basics of this video and an overview of the essentials for getting started with Angular 19. But stay tuned, because I'm going to be cranking out some more of these videos and hopefully help more people dive into Angular and front-end development. So if you like this, please remember to hit the thumbs up and definitely subscribe and turn on the notifications, hit that notification bell for future videos. I really appreciate it. Thank you for staying tuned into this video and bearing with me on my few rough edges with that bug that I had a little bit earlier, but I really appreciate it, and I thank you for being a part of FullStack Central. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon and see you in the next video.